Hey, welcome everybody to the Fighter Share Report live. It is 11 something, 11:30 something. So, hey, my partner's here. I'm here. It's Sunday. We had some big fights last night, huge fights last night, and we got a packed show, baby. That's all I can say. We got a packed show. How you feeling?
Man, I'm here, man. Happy to be here, brother. Listen, yeah, we did. Listen, if you're a combat sports fan,
Woo,
last night
woo.
was your Christmas and New Year's all rolled into one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I unwrap my gifts gleefully. It can stay in the 30s. I'm good with it. 20s, 30s, I'm good with it. It
I
just
mean, when you got that natural installation, bro, it's cool. I get it. But for
no,
me,
I just real men come from the north, so we can deal with
oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. That sums it all up. That's good.
we can deal with the cold.
I'm saying these names not because they're essentially the best fighters out there, which we can make a case for Shakur Stevenson definitely. Um, they just look that much better than whoever they fight.
I think he might want to keep this thing on the feet and stay any way possible. Stay away from that guillotine choke. he was
Yeah,
squeezing Buddy's face in the last fight and
yeah.
put him out.
Come on, dog. Let's fight.
Welcome to the Fighter Share Report. Hey, welcome to the Fighter Share Report. Let's jump right in, bro. UFC Vegas 19 recap. Man, look. I don't know if you want to start at the main event and work back. Um,
Let's
because
let's build up to that because that's the culmination. So please, let's work up from that.
okay, so I'm gonna give this one to you. The first one you want to talk about.
Listen, man, I thought that the Caitlin Vieira fight
Yes.
against the young lady that fights out of South Florida.
Yes.
Listen, her boyfriend's a light heavyweight. He might be in trouble. That girl can fight.
Can
and
she?
and she was not supposed to be able to hold her own on the ground like that with Caitlin Vieira, bro. I was extremely surprised at that fight. She gave a good showing of herself, and she got the decision. She
Listen.
made that look relatively easy going to get someone that has a ground game as revered as Caitlin.
Listen, bro. When somebody has your back and you put a hematoma on their forehead, that says something about your skill and your tenacity. And that's what it was. She was gonna beat that girl to the
Yeah,
bell rang. She didn't
that's
care.
exactly what it was, bro. Great observation. It was. Yeah, she was on her, bro. She was on her.
Yes, it was incredible. That was like having cheesecake before the pizza because that
Mm.
was such a good round, a good fight because everybody thought that she was going to lose 29-28
Yeah,
when you listen to the
yeah, yeah,
commentators. But
yeah.
she beat that girl when the other girl had her back. She had her in a choke and she punched her out of that choke. I
Yeah,
was
that was
like,
pretty impressive.
whoa, that was a co-main that was deserving to be a co-main. They deserve to have fans there for that fight,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
bro. I'm trying to remember who the fight
What do you think
was.
about Phil Halls?
That's what I was trying to remember that fight. Um, hey, what can you say about Phil Halls? Honestly, I love the fight.
He better learn. I can say a few things about Phil Halls. Wayne better learn how to move his head too.
Yeah,
He also better learn how to get off the center line, move and pivot out. That back and straight up is going to get you clipped,
yeah.
as it did a few times. And he's to do a better job of learning how to fight out of the tie clinch. He got caught in that a few times too. A few elbows and a knee. Granted, a lot of that might have been from fatigue because it was a very hard fight all the way through. But hey, you want to be elite, you better move that melon.
Right. And I expected a better showing from Phil because Phil's been around.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the end of the
They've
day,
been
what
bringing
did they
him
say?
along. They've been bringing him along steadily, but very deliberate. It's not been a fast track for Phil Halls.
Right. But at the end of the day, what do they say? A win is a win is a win.
However you get it,
Right.
however you get it.
All right, let's get into the one I've been waiting for all night long to talk about.
Take it, big boy.
Listen, the Black Beast versus Curtis Razor Blaze. I forgot Curtis Razor Blaze was a junior college national champion wrestler. Curtis Blaze was winning that entire fight, bro. Curtis Blaze had the game plan. It was executing it perfectly, but they kept saying since round one, if he would just sit down on the uppercut when Curtis tries to come in to take him down. Curtis didn't try to take him down normally. Curtis was trying to get up against the fence. But when Curtis started tasting them right hands, Curtis was like, okay, I got to take Buddy down. He shot in, and he got shot out. Because that uppercut, it looked, if you're not a fighter or if you're not a student of the game, it didn't look like that right uppercut should have hurt him. But when you look at Derek Lewis's hips, when he turned into that right hook and caught Curtis Blades coming in, Curtis was out when he got hit. Those last two shots on the ground, the referee probably was like, ooh, and forgot he wasn't a fan. Herb Dean forgot he was supposed to get in and stop that.
Listen, man, Curtis Blades didn't have the plan. You know why? Because he got stretched. And you know why he got stretched? You know who had the plan? Derek Lewis had the plan. He knew that the only way Curtis Blades was going to win that fight was he had to get him on the ground. And when he shot early in the first round, he got buzzed. He didn't catch him clean. That back Blades up. But as the fight progressed and Blades began to land some of those lead kicks and throw those awkward jabs, he was able to kind of get Derek Lewis off. He fell in love with what he thought was success, but he was ready to fall into the pit of the snake. And the Black Beast prevailed. Great fight. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Listen, real quick on that, that's why you need to teach leg sweeps. Not just charging in for singles and doubles, but you need to learn how to do leg sweeps. That would have taken that uppercut out of the game. All right, so the Showtime, PBC on Showtime recap. Baby, I know you saw this card. I know you saw this card.
You know I did, brother. Listen, I was so happy to be able to watch the fights last night that I did. My TV was flipping all night. But listen, yes, I watched all three fights on this card. None of them disappointed, but a few of them under-delivered, and the one that under-delivered for me was the first one, Robert Easter Jr. against Ryan Martin. You and I know Ryan Martin personally.
Yes.
I've been around Robert Easter on a couple different occasions. I expected a better fight from both men. Yes. I thought Easter had the more moments where you were like, oh, okay, that was a pretty hard shot. That was a very stiff jab. Oh, that was two stiff jabs. But other than that, I thought this fight under-delivered.
Yes.
Not underperformed. Yes. So for me, that was that fight. Otto Wallin showed that, hey, outside of the top 4 or 5 guys, count me in. I'm legit. I ain't going to knock nobody out. But if I can go the distance with you, I probably got the best skill set amongst all heavyweights when it comes to doing everything, a la Tyson Fury. And then the main event was the main event. It was a little bit of a snooze fest, and I didn't like the decision, but I'm okay with what's happening here. Dive in, bro. How you see it?
Listen, I want to go back to that the Robert Easter fight. You're right. I mean, I expected more out of Ryan Martin personally. A better game plan out of Ryan Martin, but we got what we got. Couldn't argue with that decision. Otto Wallin, he impressed me. He impressed me against Fury, but he really impressed me against Dominic Brazil. But then I started thinking, it just may be because it's time for Dominic Brazil to go sit down and do something else. He didn't have it, and he should have been able to beat Otto Wallin with his size and his experience and his power. And he was so slow, bro. A blind man could see those punches coming, and I did. So we get to Adrian Broner. I wasn't thrilled with the decision either. I do think Broner had better rounds than the Showtime crew was giving him credit for. When he would land a shot and his opponent would land a shot, they would always give his opponent credit for the shot. And Adrian picked off a lot of those shots that they were giving his opponent credit for. In my opinion, he had a decent fight. he didn't have a fight that said, hey, I'm back at a world caliber level, but it was a decent fight. It was a decent fight, in my opinion. Good morning, Miss Audrey. I think Adrian Broner, and believe it or not, even as cocky as he is, he showed a lot more humility after that fight than I've seen from Adrian Broner ever. Ever.
I want to go with you, bro, and I want to say that we learned a lot about Adrian Broner in this fight, and I'm going to say that we did. You know what we learned about Adrian Broner? We learned that Adrian Broner is who he is now. I think at this point we can stop hoping and wishing for anything other than what we're going to get.
Yeah.
What happened about 6 years ago to Adrian Broner when he fought Marcos Maidana, very few people saw coming. He will never be the same fighter. That man is gone now.
Yeah.
This is the best of Adrian Broner that we're going to see. If Adrian Broner can make 140 pounds, he's just going to be a more durable version of what we're seeing here. He just cannot, he will not, and probably will never again let his hands go. He will have moments where he will get comfortable. He will have moments where he just will kind of step out a little bit. But those will just be moments. It will never be consistent. This is who he is. And unfortunately for him, that's not going to translate into many more dollars.
I agree with you. He kept his hands in his pocket a lot. I mean, it's good to have defense, but defense may win championships, but it doesn't win fights always. It doesn't win fans. It doesn't make people think that you can do what you used to do. All right, now, this might be a little unfair because I just watched the ESPN on Top Rank card. I recorded it because I knew I wasn't going to be able to flip through all three.
You such a snitch. Oh, I'm glad you're such a snitch. Good. Because I would give you credit for having a good argument. But go ahead. Let's see what you got.
It is what it is. But we have a new WBC champion. Bro, that fight, Oscar Valdez, that fight, great strategy, great game plan. I think the game plan was actually built during the fight when he was able to touch Berchelt I think it was in the fourth round. He was able to touch Berchelt and he got a standing 8 count. Berchelt got a standing 8 count. It was a good fight. Valdez was able to take Berchelt to the woodshed. And it's funny because Berchelt said, this will not go 10 rounds. And at the last second, at the bell of the 9th round, and at the ending of the 9th round, he got caught with another temple shot. And it scared everybody because he went down and he was not moving. He did a face plant and he was not moving. And at the bell, normally you can challenge, hey, that punch came after the bell. It really came just tads of not even a second before the bell. But the ref he called that. That was over. It was a good fight. Oscar Valdez is your new WCW. Is it a super welter? I mean super lightweight champion. Mexico versus Mexico. And it ticked him off. It ticked Valdez off because, as they say, everybody's childhood idol, if you're from Mexico, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. went on TV and picked Miguel Berchelt. And then the president of Mexico went on TV and picked Berchelt. Can you imagine if the president of the United States went on TV to pick a fight?
No, but maybe he should probably get him more voters. But that's neither here nor there. Look, this was a complete and utter culture-changing fight for the Mexican people because here you got two guys that were polar opposites. You got Oscar Valdez, who was the baby. He's the poster boy. He was the Olympian. He was the guy that everybody thought initially was going to be the prince of Mexican boxing, right? He was going to be the guy right under Canelo, but right above Ryan Garcia because he's a homegrown product, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no, here comes this guy from the humble beginnings and has to basically fight his way through and fight his way up and fight his way against, but also fight in what? A very Mexican style. He
Mm-hmm.
was everything that embodied what a Mexican boxer should be. He was unapologetic and a little bit brash and look, took on our comers. So really you had two guys representing culture, but from two different spectrums. And safe to say most people identify with Miguel Burchell.
Yes.
So that's why you had that kind of fan base rooting for him. But people that really paid attention to boxing, they knew that this kid Oscar Valdez had the goods, but could he beat a pressure Mexican style fighter like Miguel Burchell? We've seen him time and time again take a licking and keep on ticking and eventually knock his opponent out.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what happened last night? It was a boxing clinic. You want to see a shutout, a perfect game? That's what Oscar Valdez did last night. That happens very rarely in boxing, but when it does, everybody recognizes it. And that's exactly what happened to him last night. And Burchell was a dead man walking, and he walked right into that check hook and came down in a tumbling heap. And it's probably early candidate for knockout of the year, bro. It was a beautiful fight, a beautiful knockout and game plan by Oscar Valdez, who's also trained by who? Eddie Reynoso, the same trainer of who? Canelo Alvarez, which is why I just said right below Canelo, but right above Ryan Garcia because he's a homegrown product. All the stars aligned for Oscar Valdez last night. I was happy for him. Will Miguel Burchell be back? Yeah, but I don't think he'll be able to beat Oscar Valdez, bro. When you beat a guy like that and you do everything that you wanted to do in that fight, and that guy stuck this game plan, was true to who he was, and you beat him like that, you might not. I don't know if we need to see a rematch. He's not right away.
I think it's going to be a case of Teofimo Lopez, Vasily Lomachenko, where the loser doesn't want a rematch. Doesn't want a rematch. All right, your time, 2 minutes.
So, yeah, I had a very fulfilling day yesterday. I was able to indulge myself completely and immerse myself completely into combat sports. And it's one fight that I feel like I can take at least the next 90 seconds to talk about that we didn't get a chance to get to on the show. If you tuned in yesterday at all, and you tuned in to Sky Sports, you're able to see Josh Kelly against David Adavazian. I know I butchered his name. But Josh Kelly was basically like the Shakur Stevenson of the UK. He was their Olympic hopeful. He was that poster boy. He was the next great British boxer with a little bit of swag to him, right? A lot of head movement, good feinting, good footwork. He almost looked like an American boxer, you would say, just with a little bit of tea and crumpets. And last night was his moment. He was getting ready to fight the grizzled old vet, the immigrant vet, David Adavazian. And why he had the belt, bro, this was going to be a very tough fight because, this is a big step up for Josh Kelly. And what do we get treated to? We got to see the young kid get broken into pieces. For all the hopes and dreams that we had, he was not ready. The old grizzled vet took him behind the bush and beat him from pillar to post. I think Josh Kelly's best moments in the fight were probably very early in the fight because after that, that train went downhill and it went downhill fast. I hope Josh Kelly can recover because, for the greater good of the British boxing and probably boxing globally, you want a kid like Josh Kelly to be successful. Like I just said, he's got a little bit of swag to him, whatever that means, being from England. And he's a good boxer. He looks good when you watch him fight. He's athletic. He's twitchy. He does all these cool-looking things. But, man, when you're young in your career, a la Adrian Broner about 6 years ago, when you get broken like that and you get broken early, you're never the same. So hopefully Josh Kelly comes back. But, boy, it was a beat.
Good point, man. Wow. I heard about the fight. I didn't see it, but I heard about the fight. Listen, last night was a sobering reminder of just how risky and how much these fighters give up to get in the ring. If you saw the Oscar Valdez Miguel Burchell fight, you saw something in the fight that reminded you as to why there are so many fight fans and so few fighters. Miguel Burchell got knocked down twice in the round he got knocked out in. As much fanfare and luster that shined upon him as he came in the ring was as much concern that surrounded him as he laid unconscious on the canvas. these fighters, men and women who get in there, face an uncertain fate. The longer they fight, the more they fight, the more opportunity they have to end up like Miguel Berchelt did last night. The belt doesn't matter. The record doesn't matter. And in that moment that you're laying on the canvas and you can't move, your family's only thinking of your safety. Then and going forward, are we going to be able to revive this person? Are they going to be the same person? Forget fighter, but are they going to be the same person going forward? Are they going to have to learn how to walk again? Are they going to have to learn how to talk again? Because when someone gets knocked out, it's because of trauma to the brain. And that's what happened last night. Fortunately, we saw Miguel Berchelt be able to sit up. So that was a sobering reminder to me, bro. When I see somebody get knocked out like that, it's just like, okay, you start to ask, what's worth it?
Listen, boy, the paycheck for one. But listen, bro, you talk about that knockout. Now, if you watched that Derek Lewis knockout.
Yes.
I don't know which knockout was more violent. And here's why. Because of the amount of force that bigger people generate. And bigger people also present bigger targets.
And he was swinging
Miguel
down.
Berchelt had been dropped twice already, 3 times in the fight, twice in that round until he was knocked out, right? Mm-hmm. Bro, Curtis Blades dipped down to shoot and was met with an uppercut where Derek Lewis put all of his hips. Mm-hmm. His arm didn't even have to extend that far, bro. He met him right there, bro. And while Curtis Blades was transitioning into the other realm, when he hit the ground, boy, he was hit with 2 more punches going down.
That was going to be my point.
He was already asleep.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know, man. That was pretty brutal. That was pretty violent.
It was. And that's my issue. That was my issue with the ref waiting and letting him get those extra 2 in. But it's kind of difficult because you can't move any faster than your brain recognizes what's going on.
He was already asleep. Those 2 punches didn't do any more damage. But I hear what you're saying. It looked real bad.
They could have. And that's the issue. Look, shout out to Ms. Audrey. Shout out to Fighter Share Nation who's been watching. Thank you for supporting this show. Without you all, we would have no reason to be on. Thank you.
Fighter Share Nation, we'll see y'all tomorrow on our Let's Refine show. We get to still talk about this because, boy, these knockouts going to last a long time. Spread a little love. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad place.